tonight, what I want to talk to you about is ghost stories that I've experienced, and the reason I think I experienced them is because I grew up with a very traditional Native American culture, and in the Native American culture, it was very much a part of our daily lives. The spirits were there. We acknowledge the spirits every day,
Is it you're looking for something and you're going to find it eventually?
Well, I mean, we talk to the spirits every day, and it was just like normal. It wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like normal. It was like you didn't even bat an eye. It was just like me talking to you here. I could be talking to a spirit here.
And so I guess I don't know if I'd say expectation, but they were there, and you just accepted that they were there.
Yeah, and I think the easier acceptance that they were there made it easier to be aware of them.
Okay.
I do things like bring leftover food outside in the backyard and leave it for the spirits. Another Native American thing locally here, every tribe's different, would be like when dirt gets in the house off of your boots or whatever, they say that's your ancestors coming to visit you, that dust, and you're supposed to treat it with respect, and when you sweep it up and take it outside, maybe say a little prayer for it.
That comes across as very literal to me. I mean, like, because we become dust.
Yeah.
So to that
Absolutely.
extent, I mean, does that are you feel like you're interacting with the decomposed remains, or you feel like you're interacting with something that's conscious still?
In that particular case, probably both. And there's other stuff, like when you find a spider, that's the trickster god and our deity and our spirit, and you don't kill the spider. You take it outside and let it go.
Okay. And what native tribe were you associated with, if I can ask?
I'm in Honktawan.
In Honktawan?
In Honktawan.
So what is trickster?
In English, it's the Yankton Sioux tribe.
In Honktawan. I like that. It sounds good. Phonetically.
Yeah.
What is the trickster's name in Honktawan?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
There's two trickster spirits that are the trickster spirit can come as a spider or a coyote. So.
Okay. I have my experience with coyotes and spiders, so that would kind of make sense to have that association to them being tricksters. My mom's farm there's coyotes. They're wild out there and cause a lot of problems, really.
Yeah. Well, I remember living down on the reservation when I was little, 5, 6 years old. At nighttime, my grandma and grandpa and uncles would take me out. I'd take a bath in the horse trough that they drink out of. Mm-hmm. They didn't have hot water down there. But at nighttime, I thought it was really cool because we'd sit out on the porch and after my bath and listen to the coyotes yip.
Yeah, they have an almost human-like quality to their talk out there.
So
they like to, like my mom's, they sure try to draw out her dog. They try to get her puppy to wander a little farther away. That's how my mom puts it anyway. And they're gonna, if Rosie makes her way out there, that's the end of Rosie.
It reminds me of that. Have you ever seen At Close Range?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
At Close Range. Older, newer, recent?
Old. Early 80s. Sean Penn and Christopher Walken, when Sean Penn was still married to Madonna.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
But he has a story about the coyotes, as it being cool and it being coyotes. Yeah. I just love it.
Ever been out west, Tommy? No. Ever heard a coyote? No. They make this sound like woo, woo, woo. Coyote bitch gets in heat. First thing she does, she took care of the males. Then she head toward town. All the neighborhood dogs, they smell her. They go crazy. They follow her. She lures them out onto the desert. She get a dog out there, alone. All other coyotes come along. They circle around. They kill that dog. Eat it. Tommy.
Sounds
That's
like
it.
my mom knew what she was talking about.
Yeah, that reminded me of what you said about your mom.
I
That's
think
back when.
they have such a problem out there that they game fishing parks or whoever, they fly planes and scare them up and shoot them like aircraft over there. I know it sounds like
Yeah, when we went camping last summer in July. We went to Newton Hills and we were camping. I could hear across the highway coyotes yipping, and I started getting a little nervous.
yeah. Well, I don't really think
We
they
had
get
our
too-
dog outside of our tent.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how much of a threat they are to a human. Short of like maybe if you were a kid or a little kid or something. I get worried with my little kids. I take them out to my mom's again. There's eagles everywhere. I was like, what would an eagle do? My little 2-year-old. Is that a real thing? I don't know if that's real.
I can tell you, last summer, the summer before, no, it was last summer, I think, early summer maybe. I don't remember. Last summer, or the summer before, I was at Augustana College watching the college kids play tennis. I wasn't just hanging out at the college watching people play tennis. I was there for work, and
never me to judge.
I was there for work, and someone hit a tennis ball over the tennis court, and I watched an eagle swoop down and pick up the tennis ball and fly away.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Where does the eagle follow what's the tribe again? Tanaktawan?
It honked one.
Ahoktawan.
Yeah.
Close enough. No, I'm sorry. That's disrespectful. I mean, I was very far off.
It's fine. The eagle is sacred, and if you see the eagle, it means good things.
Oh, okay.
But growing up with a Native American, very traditional belief system, what I was getting at is just very normal to see ghosts and talk about ghosts and spirits in nature and ancestor spirits, and it's kind of like growing up and going to the Catholic Church. You believe in.
Well, it seems like there's a separation, though, right? I mean, in more traditional like Christian, like there's, as opposed to maybe Native American beliefs, where like you talk about just bringing dirt in the house, and I mean, there's no divide between the spiritual world almost and what we see in every day. I mean, it's like one continuous circle.
Yeah, in the
like Christianity, I gotta get through a gate.
yeah.
I want to see God and all that jazz.
Well, if we're looking at things from someone with the European descent that is here,
sure.
they talk about like supernatural and paranormal activity, and for the Native American, there's no such thing as supernatural. It's just natural. It's just part of nature. There's nothing odd about it. So, yeah.
Okay, so if we're gonna get into ghosts, then what would define that? I mean, you said there's no supernatural. Where does a ghost fit in that?
I'm saying that the ghost exists, but it's not supernatural. Then it's just a normal part of nature. Like you see a rabbit hopping across your yard.
So there must be some though that are more important than others. We talked about trickster, the coyote, the spider.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
So my tribe, my family, lived obviously on the Yankton Sioux Reservation down around a place called Shota Creek, and it's at the river bottom, the Missouri River, and there's a lot of ghosts down there.
So Shota Creek, is that like, does it run into the Missouri?
Yes, yeah.
Is it like just a little creek then, like
Yeah.
small, very small?
Yep.
Okay, and that's kind of where you grew up.
Yeah,
On the creek,
and
or-
basically this whole area down around Shota Creek, it's like the whole river bottom now. It's not just where the little Shota, just the creek itself. No, it's kind of a whole area.
What does that mean?
Like this whole area down around the river bottom ended up just being called Shota Creek, even though there's a
okay.
little creek down there.
Okay.
So it encompasses more of the Missouri River bottom than the creek when people are talking about it.
Hmm. So you got what? You get cattle down there that they drink out of that Shota Creek?
Yeah.
With little farms grazing.
Yeah.
How what do they grow? Corn, general stuff. I think,
Yeah, corn, hay, I don't know,
okay, so
alfalfa.
like, you go down there and you get a little further west, things start drying out a little bit, and
Yeah.
a little more prairie, less grassland maybe, or a little more
This would be
grazing as opposed to more fertile farm. So
this would be southeastern South Dakota.
yeah, okay. I'm not terribly familiar with it. I'm
No.
more familiar with the West.
And it's an interesting area for a reservation too, because most reservations, it's all reservation land, but Shota Creek and Yankton Sioux, a lot of land ended up getting sold to Caucasians, white people, and so we could be standing on one person. Like if you go to a town nearby, like Wagner or Marty, or they got a little ghost town down there called Greenwood. All these little towns, you could be standing in one person's yard that's a white person, and you're standing on state property, and next door Native American ones, in their yard is reservation. So the federal government and the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, they have jurisdiction over reservation, but the city cops and the state cops don't. So if you want to get away from a state or city cop, you just hop on a reservation. You go onto this guy's farm that he's native and he owns this farm. This is reservation land. You can't come on here.
Oh.
So,
So you grew up in the Shota Creek, and I derailed you, and we're talking about ghosts.
you didn't derail me.
Okay. I'm gonna think of the setting. So like you go to an hour west of there,
Yeah.
on my mom's property, and it's very kind of harsh, rocky. There are some plots, fields,
Yeah.
and my grandpa, he had a collection of arrowheads and stuff that he'd find there, along with fossils and everything else.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of trying to get a picture of this Shota Creek area, as opposed to like, because you keep going further west. My aunt and uncle live in White River, and you get down in the Badlands. It's just this craziness. Not craziness, but it's just kind of bleak, really.
Yeah.
And so South Dakota, I guess. But so Shota Creek is a fertile, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's not flatland down there. Shota Creek is all hilly down by the river bottom. And it's all farmland.
And so the Yankton Sioux tribe, who were probably in this area historically, I assume.
Yeah.
How do they subsist?
Oh, well,
Fish?
this is a whole other topic.
Well, I don't know.
If we talk about
they're eating fish, and that fish.
Well, we'll talk the reservations. If we talk about what
ghost
the
is that?
reservations are, hold on, the reservations. How did a reservation get created?
Unfairly, I'm sure.
It was the government rounding
Right.
up all the Native Americans of this tribe and pushing them all to this area of
Right.
land and saying you stay here and you don't cross these borders and stay away from us.
Yeah.
And so basically what a reservation was a prison camp. And it was not the fertile land. It was like, there's nothing here we want, so you can go over here and stay in that little area. And that's hard for people to say today, that these reservations are former prisons, basically.
Right, yeah.
So there was not a lot down there. But
So yeah, and that's kind of what my question about Yankton tribe. Where do they subside and then ultimately subsist? Yeah, is that the right word? I don't know, but and yeah, this reservation. I always thought about reservations. And I'm pretty sure I've probably been told that historically at some point that these were chosen for their lack of resource, really. So they're probably a little more spread out, I'm assuming.
Well, this kind of plays into what I talked about, where you could be standing on one plot of land and a white person owns it, and then next door, across the property line, Native American owns that, and that's reservation. What happened down around Shota Creek, as the government realized, this is good farmland, we could use this land, but we're a little more civilized than when we put you here, so they started buying the land back. So
okay.
So they had this all nothing to do with ghosts here, but they had what we called claims money, because they bought some of the land back from us. So when we all turned 18, we got some money, and some people like my family wouldn't sell the land back. So yeah, but it was good farmland. I don't know what they're farming down there, honestly. I know there's hay, and I know there's corn, and some soybeans, I think. Well, let me tell you about my family's farm down there at Shota Creek.
What were they growing?
I don't know, because we lease it out as pasture right now.
Oh, okay.
So, and I don't own it. My family owns it. My mom and my uncles. So our farmland there in Shota Creek, there we have our family cemetery on there, which is pretty cool. It's full now, so you can't bury anybody else in there. But
what? How did you determine that?
It must be some kind of federal regulations or city or some government regulations that in this so much area you can only bury so many bodies.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe it was traditional decision or something.
No.
Okay.
So, but I go up there and I can see these are all my ancestors. It's people everybody that's passed away that's in there is they passed away in the 1800s or early 1900s, and my great grandpa and grandma are up there. My great grandpa and grandma are the ones that basically started this farm that we had down there. Well, let me tell you a ghost story about down there.
Was your name? What is your last name? Does it stand for something specific?
Well, I have a German last name.
I was gonna say, not one I've associated with Native American, but I don't know everything. So
I got a German last name, Neuharth, which means new heart or new hardness, depending on the interpretation.
Tree on a hill.
Yeah,
that's mine. German.
Oh, it is.
Tree on a hill.
Well, and then I'm actually very much German and Native American. So my other German name from my other side of my family is Gherkin. Pickle.
Yeah.
But Native American family name is Stinger, and that name comes from when they were passing the peace pipe around one time. One of my ancestors poked the guy next to him in the leg with the peace pipe, and it stung him, and they named him Stinger, like a bee stinger. So and that's how Native American names used to come, is that you would see something significant and name that person that. So, well, like the movie Dances with Wolves, what do they see him doing? Dancing with the Wolves. So they name him Dances with Wolves.
Oh, okay.
So if I remember, I usually had about 3 names throughout your lifetime.
Oh, okay.
So no last names.